Welcome back. You're tuned into Inside Out here on CNBC-TV18. Well, it's time for our special Swotlight segment. Sonal, what's the company you're tracking? And give us a brief background as well.
Okay, so today I'm going to be focusing on a pharma named Nigel. We've not spoken so much about that sector, and I looked at Neuland Labs this time. Stellar set of Q2 performance, and that got me thinking, what does the company really do? Now, the stock saw stellar returns from Jan 2020 to May 2021, almost 500%. And from those levels, the stock has fallen by around 38%. The company is primarily into manufacturing of active pharmaceutical ingredients for global pharmaceutical companies. It also provides end-to-end solutions for the pharma industry for chemistry-related services from synthesis of library compounds to supply of new chemical entities and intermediates at various clinical phases up to commercial scale. It majorly has three segments: Prime API, which is 34% of revenue, Specialty API is at 30%, and CMS is at 32%. Where Prime API is high volume, mature products, and Specialty API, that is low volume, high value product. And the company is focusing on tilting its business mix from Prime to Specialty in last couple of years. Now the CMS business. It involves manufacturing API to customer specifications, designing it, developing manufacturing processes, process optimization for competitiveness, and also filing of DMF for API, among the other things that it does. It has sizable exposure to global markets. North America is 43%, Europe at 41%, APAC at 5%, Japan at 3%, Latin America is there, and India is small at around 2 to 3%. It has 3 manufacturing units in India, all in Hyderabad. Unit 1 with 233 kiloliter capacity, Unit 2 is at 363, and Unit 3 at 305 kiloliters in terms of capacity.
Well, interesting one, Sonal. So the big exposures to the export markets, and it has 3 segments. How has that converted into revenues as well as profits for the company?
Okay, now as I said, Q2 was really strong, Nigel, right? And I looked at the past financials of the company as well. Revenues, they have seen a CAGR of 10% in the last 5 years. Margins have also been very strong at 19%. This is the first half versus levels of 8 to 15% earlier. And profit has seen decent growth as well. Now here, in first half, they have done 75% of FY22 profits already. Company did say in Q2 that they have experienced some easing in raw material prices, and they continue to maintain high levels of inventory to avoid any future possible disruptions in the global markets. And that improvement in margins is due to shift to high margin products as well. And that's what led to record high margins for the company in Q2, 24%, and that compares with levels of 10% in Q4 of FY20, 19% in Q3 of FY21, 15% back then, and so on. So definitely the big improvement margin was the highlight in Q2.
Well, margins have been improving, but what could be the big challenge in going ahead? And also, if you could highlight a couple of risks for the company.
Yes, that's what we always talk about, right? Let's start with the challenges. What could it be after the stellar performance? Now, company provides CMS services to biotech companies abroad. And they said European companies are also quite active in terms of getting some of the business from biotech companies from the Indian companies. And this could increase the competition. Also, in scaling up of chemical entities, not only infrastructure, but also scientific talent is required, right? And some of the players globally have sounded cautious on international talent. However, this is an area where they are investing a lot of time and resources. Now, risk, it would be inconsistency in offtake of APIs, pricing as well, and quality compliance risk, because these are usual risks for any of the API companies, regulatory risks, so to say.
All right, but we always tell our viewers what are the strengths as well. Tell us about the possible triggers for the company from here on. And also, if you could give us a sense about valuations and promoter holding as well.
Yes, so a lot of questions. So let me start with their strengths. The company recently mentioned that while European companies are getting into the CMS business actively, European API companies and the Indian API companies, they will become key supply base for pharmaceutical markets across the globe after the Russia-Ukraine crisis. And their active CMS projects, they have been increasing continuously. Q2 at 87 versus 68 that they saw the last quarter as well. Company also expects H1 momentum to continue in H2 as operating leverage kicks in. Now, valuations are at an industry average of 22 times FY23 EPS, but promoter holding is low at 36.22% as per the last available data. So that's not very motivating for the investor.
All right, it was an interesting piece, Sonal. Thanks a lot for that. But that was some information that Sonal put out for us on Neuland Laboratories. But we have completely run out of time on this episode of Inside Out. from Sonal and myself, it's goodbye.
But do write to us and tell us the companies you want us to discuss and you want to hear about, and we'll feature these on our show. Thanks a lot for watching.